All right. Well, Ana, I want thanks for joining me, and we've got a lot of different movies to discuss this week. But first, I wanted to let folks know that at the International Film Series, as of today being Friday, February 5th, we actually have had we got a bunch of new films that have been added to the website that you can watch through internationalfilmseries.com. And I want to reiterate what a thrill it is for me to be able to read the New York Times fresh from the morning, today's edition, and go to the art section and to the film reviews and see reviews for the exact same movies that are up on the website as of right now. They include, there's a review for Two of Us, which we're screening. And it ends by saying that through the use of symbolic peepholes, eavesdropping, and dark rooms that provide cover for whispered assurances of devotion, Two of Us succeeds as a stealthy depiction of lesbian erotics, one that mirrors the inhibitions of a generation. So that's one that's available to see. And another review that's right here is for A Glitch in the Matrix. Now, A Glitch in the Matrix is one that I, even though it just opened today, I saw it earlier, and thanks to Sundance, because it's screened at Sundance. It's being distributed by Magnolia. And it's the latest documentary by Rodney Asher, whose previous two documentaries were Room 237, which that's the one that's where he talks, Rodney basically allows these various people who got obsessed with The Shining to elaborate on their different rabbit hole theories for what was really going on, what Kubrick was really doing with The Shining. But then after that, he came out with a really interesting documentary called The Nightmare, which if anyone's ever suffered night terrors, I highly recommend The Nightmare. And so they're both interesting, they're entertaining, maybe a little disturbing. And I can say the same thing for A Glitch in the Matrix, which again, it just had its premiere at Sundance. A Glitch in the Matrix is basically it's a documentary I'd recommend to anyone who's interested in Philip K. Dick, especially as it has very rare footage of a talk that he gave, a lecture that he gave back in the 70s. And Philip K. Dick, of course, the author behind Why Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which turned into Blade Runner. And then there's also Minority Report gets tossed into the mix, and lots of other great sci-fi references throughout A Glitch in the Matrix, which also handles or is kind of involved with simulation theory. And I just want to say also that this was like the very first time I've been attending Sundance for almost 30 years, but this is the very first time that I've been able to screen things virtually just from home. And instead of paying a couple $1,000s for lodging and for food and traveling, and which, mind you, it's always nice to shake things up, and I do miss hanging out with fellow exhibitors and distributors. But there was, because of the pandemic, they changed things up and they made it easy. And I really appreciate that. So hats off to Sundance. And you also were able to screen some of the Sundance films, right, Ana?
Yes, I did. And I have to say, one of the good things that has come from this pandemic, I think, is allowing more accessibility for films, like getting to have our film showing at the same time that they're showing in New York. And part of that, too, is participating in festivals that normally I wouldn't be able to go to. So I've not gone to Sundance, but it was fun to kind of participate in this sense. And so I was able to check out 3 titles, Mayday, Hive, and Night of the Kings.
And Hive got 4 awards, right?
Yeah, I think it grabbed 3, but all I think were very well deserved. That was the highlight film for me. But a great selection and very diverse topics covered, and it was a lot of fun to see. So I'm glad for that, and also suggesting, of course, checking out our own options too at the IFS was great.
Now, Hive was based on a true story. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's following a woman in Kosovo after the war that happened in 1998 and 1999. And she has to, she doesn't know if her husband is alive or what happened to him. So she goes through her own journey trying to support her family with starting a business that is very hard to do in the patriarchal society that exists there. So it had a beautiful structure, I think, of following both the investigation into the husband and also her journey into trying to create this business and all of the different trials. So I thought it was beautifully done and one of the best movies I've seen in a while, I think.
Great. And what was the other? Mayday, was that one that you saw?
Yes, that was one I saw per your recommendation. And that also deals with kind of harder themes about a young woman that is raped and has to deal with kind of the psychological impacts of that, and how that's told as a very interesting creative twist where she goes into a kind of fantasy reality where there's a different type of war going on that connects back to her own emotional state. So very interesting portrayal that I hadn't seen really done.
I used to I remember once going on a tangent where I tried to watch as many movies that had to deal with mermaids. And I actually think, even though you never see any mermaids, but this one has something very similar. Like there's a theme about these women on an island attracting men to their doom. And I thought, you know what, this would work as a mermaid themed movie, I think.
I actually had the same thought with that, especially with what they do with the radio and
Right.
just drawing them in. Mermaids came to my mind as well.
What was the third one? I forgot.
Night of the Kings.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And
What was that one about?
that follows prison on the Ivory Coast, Maka prison, and it has to deal with the hierarchical power in the prisons between the inmates, and the power of storytelling was the predominant theme in that. So from a movie standpoint, watching a movie about storytelling was great. It did lose me about, I think, at the 70th minute, but it's still a very interesting movie that had a lot to kind of unpack there.
And that one, didn't that one also have that one got an award, I think, didn't it?
I don't think that one did. No, it was one of the ones that was kind of an extra programmed movie from a different, I forgot how they described it, but it was kind of a different pool in the Sundance programming.
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to mention this, but along with the other titles that I mentioned as being available to watch from the IFS website, there's also a documentary on MC Escher. And there's one called Mayor, which just got a bunch of the Chapo Trap House guys interviewed the director, and they had a very strong review and recommendation for Mayor. And it sounds like a great doc. Maybe we'll actually watch that one for next time to discuss. And I'm glad that I'm glad that you were able to tap into the Sundance selection. I'm glad that we're able to share some of those titles right away with folks who go to the internationalfilmseries.com, where you can watch them for cheaper than we saw them at Sundance. And thanks again for supporting us. Every time you click on a movie from our link, the distributors split it halfway with us. So we're thankful for that. We're thankful for you viewers for helping us with this and enjoying the films, hopefully. We'll catch you next week.